Welcome back to the Means Report. Happy to have you with us, and thanks for staying tuned as we talk about, I think, a topic that impacts all of us because either we are guilty of this or someone in our life is, and it's enough to drive you nuts. It's the clutter that exists in our world, especially in your personal space. And I want to talk with an expert about ways to get rid of it. She is Marin Rose. She's the author of Breaking Up With Your Stuff. It's a wonderful book. I encourage you to get it now, and I want to just give you a sneak peek of what is inside this great book, Breaking Up With Your Stuff, and the author herself has joined us. Marin Rose, thank you for being on the Means Report.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let me first of all just talk about the subtitle here, which I have to read. I haven't committed it to memory. The subtitle of Breaking Up With Your Stuff is Emotional Homework to End Your Toxic Relationship with the Clutter Culture. This is a culture, is it not? It is part of our society, people living in a cluttered world.
Yes, this is not just an individual problem. It's a problem that almost all individuals in America, certainly, and probably a lot throughout the West, are having because of our cultural atmosphere.
How do you draw the line between someone who's a hoarder and someone who just hasn't decluttered?
It's an interesting question. I think when most people think about hoarders, they're thinking of extreme hoarding, which is the type of thing you see on those TV shows, like the one entitled Hoarders, where it's to such an extreme that you almost can't imagine living like that. And even if you have clutter in your house or in your life, you're not necessarily relating to that. You're kind of sitting back and judging it and going, oh, that's crazy.
Right. At least
I feel much better about myself now. I think I'll go online shopping, which is sort of like looking at shows where people are extremely obese, who weigh 600 pounds, and then looking at yourself and saying, oh, well, I have no trace of that behavior in me, which is oftentimes not true.
Yeah.
The case is, according to the 6 years of experience I've had working with hundreds of different people, is that everybody has hoarding tendencies. Probably I have less of them than the average person just because of my personality type, but the tendency to hold on to things, to insulate ourselves and sort of falsely protect ourselves with objects and barriers is an instinct that Westerners have for whatever reason, people have.
But Marin, there's a real emotional attachment to some of these things, and if not an attachment in the moment, then a belief that later in life we might need this item. Later in life our children might enjoy seeing this thing. How do you get away from that?
Just in case is a dangerous phrase. We have to live for our now. Just like we can't live in the past if we want to enjoy our present and build a future, we can't live in the future either. We need to be present and look at, how is my space serving me? We have a little place on this world, right? We have a little place to call home, and I have a big place to call home right now, but we'll be moving to New York City in a few weeks, and we'll have a much smaller place to call home. But whatever it is you have, that is the little sliver of the world where you have control. And yet, so many of us hate that space. So many of us don't make decisions about what we allow into our homes and into our lives and what we say no to because it doesn't serve us.
Give me a quick glimpse of perhaps the warning signs, or kind of paint a picture of someone's home that would indicate they have too much stuff.
Well, you know, I don't like to put a blanket statement about too much stuff. Too much stuff for you may be fine for me, or vice versa. What
point must it reach where we say, okay, that's a red flag?
Wherever that point is that you feel your stuff is getting in the way of your life. So if you are prioritizing stuff over relationships and experiences, for instance, if you are spending hours cleaning and tidying your house, or shopping, or organizing things in your house, whereas you would rather be or should be working on your career, spending time with your friends, taking a nap, getting more sleep, spending time with your family, investing in your children's lives, then you have a problem.
If we can't secure the services of a personal organizing coach like yourself, which I think a lot of our viewers, all of them, would love to do, what are some baby steps we can take? Is it room by room? Is it shelf by shelf? Is it let's just take a Saturday and fix everything?
You know, I'm kind of against baby steps, and the reason is, and the reason I wrote this book, there are a million books out there and a million how-tos about how to organize or how to physically declutter. That's not the hard part. We all know you put in piles what you're going to keep and what you're not going to keep. That's not what is valuable about my services, and what I think is really valuable about my services is what I've tried to put in that book, which is if you want to get started, the best thing you can do is think about your life, your priorities in life, which I guarantee if you had to only list 3, you would not list ironing or collecting shoes or any of those things. And you need to think about how do you want things to be different. And what I assign people as emotional homework a lot of the times is close your eyes and visualize what your space would be if it were the way that you would like it to be. How would you feel different in the morning, waking up and being in the space that you imagine yourself living in? How would it feel coming home at the end of a long day and entering a space where you felt calm, where you felt in control, where you saw only things that you loved or were really useful to you?
Man, that would be awesome. It would be a beautiful world, and I mean, you're preaching to me because, and I'm sure a lot of folks are picturing their homes right now and things that could be done. What about this, though? I know you don't like to make blanket statements, but could we just start with putting things that are alike together?
Yes, and I think where I disagree is, organizing one drawer or kind of organizing, decluttering one room isn't really the right way to attack it. What I want to do is make people efficient declutterers. I don't want you to go through a drawer, spend an hour, get frustrated. 2 days later, the drawer is exactly where it was, and now you've not only are you in the same boat, you're actually in a worse boat because you've been frustrated and felt like a failure. I want to help you be efficient. So if you can put your priorities and goals first and commit to doing the sort of drastic change that is needed mentally and habitually in order to make this a lasting change, then you're on the right track. Then, once you're there and you're really ready to commit to doing what's needed, then you can start with taking all things out that are alike and putting them in one spot. Going through books in one bookshelf when you have 10 bookshelves throughout your house is really inefficient. You don't know how to make decisions about what to keep and what not to keep when you're looking at just a fraction of the volume that you own. So you really want to make a worse mess first before you clean it up. Go around. If it's kids' toys, go to the playroom, go to their room, go to your car, look under your bed for all of those kids' toys that are everywhere. Get them in one place, and then you can really sense, whoa, this is a lot of volume. What is reasonable? And then you can make responsible decisions.
Can you give a timetable or a guesstimate of how long this might take for the average person to go from where we are now to the beautiful picture you painted?
It really depends on the person. I've worked with clients, some of whom really need to hold and look at every single thing, every last coupon, every last receipt, every last scrap. And, I'm very goal-oriented. I can see the end product in my mind the minute I walk through your door on day one. So I am very, I mean, I love this, right? Most people hate this. I love this. So I can't wait until we just get it. I want to get you that beautiful end result and have you have immediate gratification. But some people just need, it's a very emotional thing. We're talking about object attachment. So some people take a year of sessions or a year of working on their own or with a friend or a family member to go through everything and declutter. Other people, some clients, I show up, and by the time they have hired me, committed the time, committed the money to bring me in, they are ready. And that is really...
That's half the battle, at least.
It's more than half the battle. It's similar to, breaking up a relationship, ending a relationship, or breaking up with food, or, bad smoking or other bad habits. You're not going to be successful with it until you have really thought it through. You know it's what you want to do, and you are emotionally ready to do what has to be done in order to get there.
What's it like to see somebody come out on the other side, to see somebody you met in a certain spot, a certain place in life, and then when it's done?
It's what makes my job meaningful. When I got started, I thought, oh, well, you know, I love organizing. I love spaces. I love improving things. You know, I was doing this in my own closet, in my mom's closet, even when I was just a little kid. I don't think I would have stuck with it for 6 years and continually felt renewed by it and energized by it and, you know, written a book and given it as much thought as I have if it hadn't really been about people and about improving people's lives. So you said, oh, wow, it would be amazing to have that house the way I envisioned it.
Yeah.
Until you're there, you have no idea just how amazing it is, because it isn't just about that relief of coming home and having a place to love and feel good in. It's about so many other things that are affected: your relationships, your priorities, your job, your finances. It affects so many different aspects of your life when you get control of one aspect.
The book is Breaking Up with Your Stuff. The author is Marin Rose. Marin, I just cannot thank you enough for being here today. I appreciate what you're doing, and I hope that people seek your services before you get out of town. But at the very least, pick up the book, Breaking Up with Your Stuff. You can find it. The Richmond County Library has it. The Book Tavern, of course, has it. We love our friends at the Book Tavern. Or just log on right this minute and have it at your house in a couple of days on Amazon.com. Marin Rose, Breaking Up with Your Stuff. What a difference maker that can be in your life. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
You got it.